Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Ginger Fox here, and I'm going to be reading some more Desire in Decorum Book 3. This is Chapter 2 of Book 3, Ashes to Ashes. It's finally time to turn to Edgewater and plan your wedding. But while shocking news threaten your big plans, probably knowing what will happen. Okay, Book 3, Chapter 2, Ashes to Ashes. Several days after your departure from Bath. Oh no, I forgot everything burned down. You and Mrs. Sinclair finally arrive at the charred remains of Ledford Park and take in the ruined site. My God. A memory of Ledford Park as you last left it flashes through your mind. Oh my God, that's horrible. My God. Your eyes flash from the charred and ruined scene before you to Mr. Sinclair, whose heartbreak is evident on his face. It's somehow even worse than I could have imagined, and believe me, I imagined. I'm so sorry. I thank you. He turns back to survey the rubble and takes a few hesitant steps forward. I understand you can't stand the sight. If you wish to take your leave. I won't abandon you in your hour of need. I'll see it through, right by your side. You are too kind to me, my lady. Mr. Sinclair hesitates for a moment, then leads you into what remains of the manor. You follow him through the entryway, then into a room off of the parlor. The dress from a once stately desk sits at the center. Have you any idea what caused the fire? My steward told me an oil lamp was knocked over in this very room of my study. It's odd though, distinctly recall bringing the lamp back to my bedroom the night before I left for Bath. The lamp shouldn't even have been in my study room, to the best of my memory. Truly? I wonder if that means it could have been foul play. I suppose it might have been, but I'm not certain it matters now the estate's gone. Mr. Sinclair begins picking through the rubble of his former study, beginning with the desk. All I can be grateful for is that no one was seriously harmed in the fire. That is a relief. I shudder to think what might have happened. It's the only good to come of this entire horrid affair. You, Mrs. Sinclair, pause as his hand brushes over the burnt cover of a large tomb. He plucks the scorched metal nip of a quill from the ashes beside the book. What are these? Family heirlooms passed down from my father and from his father before. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I had hoped to pass them on to my own children, but now to see them like this. He sighs, his shoulders slumping. Mrs. Sinclair, I have to stay a while longer to begin to account for the damage. Would you, that is, I take a step closer, your hand absently brushing something sitting on top of a crumbling pedestal nearby. Mr. Sinclair draws in a sharp breath. What is it? He turns away, but not before you catch sight of a single tear slipping from his eye. That, what you just touched, it was a wooden figurine carved by my grandfather. Everything in this manor belonged to someone I care about, someone who's no longer here. I'm surrounded by the memories of things, of people I'll never see again. I can imagine how difficult this must be for you. He turns back towards you, his lip quivering. He hesitates for a long moment before finally meeting your eyes. I'm not certain I can do this alone. Will you stay with me? Of course I will stay with you, bro. I got you. Say no more, sir. I'll stay as long as you need me. You sit back towards Mrs. Sinclair, your eyes following to the charred book in his hands. You said that's a family heirloom. What is it? It's a log of all the major events to happen at Ledford Park over the centuries. It contained entries about Christmas celebrations from my childhood, stories of ancestors going off to war on England's behalf, even visits from royalty. It sounds like Ledford Park saw many major events in its history. Yes, and now the record is gone. You must know that. Knowing you read that log 100 times and know other tales by heart. The first time since you arrived, you see the faintest hint of a smile on Mrs. Sinclair's lips. I'm sure I will blunder one or two details. You'll pass those stories on to your children, and they will pass them on to theirs. The stories will never be lost as long as Sinclair is left alive in the world. Mr. Sinclair thumbs through the ruined pages of the book, and his eyes go wide. There's a page here. It's still pra- partially, legible. It's at the very heart of the tomb. You peer over Mrs. Sinclair's shoulder and see that it's written in Mrs. Sinclair's hand. This is from the day of the duel. Suffice to say that the events of this morning did not go to plan. Two Rickers won the day of it through unscrupulous means. Even in the face of this defeat, what I find remarkable is Lady Clare's resilience. In spite of all the hardships she has faced, she remains as bold and determined as ever. To tell it truthfully, her attitude in the midst of all this has me more impressed than ever. More impressed with her than ever, sorry. She is a force to be reckoned with. There is no doubt in my mind that she remains as determined as ever to be with Miss Parsons, regardless of the outcome of the duel. Seeing that resolve and the strength of her love for Miss Parsons has only strengthened my own resolve. With someone like her to inspire me, I know I can withstand anything. Sinclair. This is the Mr. Ernest Sinclair I know. See? I am here to give you all the strength you need. It's difficult to argue with my own words, isn't it? If you did, I might question your good sense, sir. He offers you a weary glance, and you spot a hint of humor in his eyes. After a moment, he shakes his head. Come, there's another place I must see. Mr. Sinclair leads you down the burnt husk of a long hallway and into another husk of a room. This was my bedroom when I was a boy, though it's been a guest room for some time. You watch as he rattles the handle on a half-destroyed drawer. He manages to pull it free, then pauses before lifting something out of it. Carry blanket. A blanket? It was my receiving blanket. My mother spent the evenings before my birth knitting it for me. This house used to hold so many memories of her, and now they're ashes. Not all of them. The blanket may be a bit damaged, but it's intact. He pauses for a moment, staring down at the blanket in his hands. After a long while, he sighs heavily and meets your eyes. My lady, do you ever run out of optimism? I've come close, but I wouldn't be standing here if I had never completely lost hope. Let's take a break for a while. Come. You lead Mrs. Sinclair out of the wide expanse of land behind the manor, finding charred, dropping branches in place of the once grand garden and orchard. He pulls in a deep breath of the morning air. Sorry, I'm not certain the truth can be escaped here. My grandmother planted this garden, and it's gone too. She also planted the Edgewater gardens, did she not? You can enjoy them any time you wish, in remembrance of her. My lady, that truly does mean a lot to me. If I can offer my consolation, I wish to. I can't begin to imagine what you're feeling, but I want you to remember that all is not lost, sir. I know you've had your concerns about living up to your father's memory. Perhaps once you've rebuilt Liver Park, you can know as I do that you have carried on the Sinclair name with honor. I hadn't thought of it that way. Countess Clare, I don't know if I could have faced this without you. And you're absolutely right. I need to rebuild. It will be a long road, but it's one I must walk. Just remember, and myself, Miss Parsons, Sir Luke, Prince Hamid, Miss Daly, so many people are standing behind you. So many people want to see you happy and will help you through this. He offers you a small smile. I have you to thank for that. If I hadn't met you, I would be managing this all on my own. Your eyes flick to the sun overhead, and you realize that the morning has nearly passed by. I suppose it's nearly time for me to return to Edgewater. I'm sure everyone's waiting for me to deliver the news. I wouldn't want them to worry. He turned to begin to walk back to the Edgewater estate, but stopped short, realizing something. He looked back at Mr. Sinclair. Mr. Sinclair, have you given any thought to where you'll be sleeping for the foreseeable future? No, I hadn't thought about it at all. He rubbed his temples with both hands, squeezing his eyes shut. Suppose I have to rent a room in Moorfield for the time being. Or you could stay at Edgewater. It would be delightful to have you as a guest and save you many a trip in from town. I must admit, it would certainly save me a lot of trouble, and I wouldn't mind sharing a breakfast table with you. You should be off, my lady. I'll join you at Edgewater when I'm finished here. Remember, I'm only a short ride away should you need me. I'm going to stop the video here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, stay safe and take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.